Good afternoon, and here's to hoping that you had yourself a wonderful Easter weekend. You're on SABC3, the stage is yours with Real Talk. Now, speaking of stage, to say my guest today's magic on stage would be as big of an understatement as saying there's a little bit of sand in the Sahara, right? Phrases that follow him around are the most esteemed performer of our time, one of the most booked performers of our time, and performer par excellence. Oh. Today, we unravel 25 years of 5 minutes to showtime, and ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna say it. Yes, in studio, I have the legend, Sello Maake Ka-Ncube. And if you are the UK journalist that interview you, Sello Maake Ka-Ncube.
Ka-Ncube.
Thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Thank you, Anele.
This is such an honor.
Oh, what an introduction.
Right? There are times when you're like, she's still talking about me.
Yeah, are you talking about me?
And then you realize, I am indeed. So I want you to take me somewhere real quickly.
Yeah.
You are 15 years old.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking in the window, ne?
Yeah.
And I can see the 15-year-old you, 15, 16.
Yeah.
And you are deciding that you're going to follow a path in the arts. On that day,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Like, I didn't decide on the day. What had happened was I saw a play for the first time when I was 15 years old. And I saw How Long, Gibson Kenter's How Long. So I went, saw the play, and I was like, wow, you know, seeing people on the stage dancing, singing, acting. You know, I remember the guy who was playing the lead, his name was Mxolisi Fasi, which was, that was Brenda Fasi's brother.
I was about to say, any relation to the other legend?
Yes,
oh,
you
wow.
know, and Mxolisi Fasi had a gap, a tooth gap. And I had lost the tooth. This is a,
talented people have that gap thing.
well, no, yours is natural. You know, I mean, what is it called? Sitsako. Exactly. You know, but had lost a tooth, and I had lost a tooth while I was playing soccer, I think at the age of 12, 13. So I was, you know, I had a gap there. And because Mxolisi had a gap, so for me, Mxolisi was my role model. Okay. So I looked like, hey, you know. But also, I couldn't stop emulating because Mxolisi was playing a young man at that time. And I couldn't stop emulating what he was doing on stage. And my cousins who were doing an amateur play, you know, and, you know, they were a little older than me. I mean, I was 15 and they were 18, 19.
So they like the people you kind of aspire to as well.
Exactly. Well, cool. Of course, you know.
Yeah.
So when they were busy, like, I mean, they used to park at my cousin's boys' room, you know, the outside room. And when they are seated there, then I will jump in and show a couple of things from the play. Okay. And one day, you know, one of them said, you know, man, here's Lentwana later, man.
That is something.
Man, here's Lentwana in the talent later. I want to see Zami playing it. And they started writing me into the play that they were doing. And as they say, the rest is history.
So are you met with any resistance from, you know, older people? Because no, you know,
I did.
Go study, you know,
yeah.
go be an engineer.
I did at a later stage, you know, like I remember at, 18? 18, and I was doing my matric. Yeah. And Gibson Kente had come to Atteridgeville to do a play, one play, what was it? I think it's one of the schoolgirl or something, schoolgirl and the taxi man. And after the show, they said there are going to be auditions. And I remember going home, I said, Mama, I'm going to audition for Gibson Kent. And I just say, no ways.
What was her dream for you?
In fact, my stepfather said, yeah, because I was raised by my stepfather, Mike. And he said, look, pass your matric first and you can do whatever you want. You know,
fair.
So, you know, that was it. And then I think after I passed my matric, the following year, I have Gibson people coming to my house. What had happened was, I think the following year, I was doing my standard 9 when I was 18. I finished my matric when I was 19. The following year, when I was 19, I was doing a play, a one-man play, you know, and so these guys were there coming to do Schoolgirl and the Taxi Man. And when they were there, I performed for them and said, hey, man, look, man, this is good. I've got this play. Can you advise me? And they were blown by the fact that this young boy at 19 is doing a one-man show, something that we dread.
I was about to say, because
Yeah.
that is a benchmark
Exactly.
that many industry professionals who've been in it for 30 years think twice about doing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I've just done one.
Okay. Yes.
And I was like, what? Why am I subjecting myself to this?
But I suppose when you don't have the professional experience of it,
when you're young,
you're fearless. It's like a toddler.
Yeah.
Like, don't jump there. They don't know that it's gonna hurt.
No, absolutely.
You just jump.
Absolutely. It's good to be young.
It's wonderful,
It's
to
wonderful
be young.
to be
It
young.
is wonderful.
You know.
So you were that fearless.
Exactly, at that time. So, I mean, and when they saw me, and the following year, Gibson was looking for an actor, they said, hey, Bragi.
What about that guy? And is this the first time you meet him, or had you met him?
Exactly. I hadn't met him. You know, and I went there and I did whatever I did. And he says, oh, okay. And that was it. And I was in the cast and performed. And I remember one time, I think we were in rehearsal. And my character had a scene where he breaks down and cried. And I got so taken up by the emotion when I was in rehearsal that I was crying for real. And Brad Gibbs said, come on. Siyadlala apha. Siyithatha serious.
Save some of that for later.
You know.
Save all of that for later.
But I guess, that I think that was, and basically that's the kind of actor that I became, and whatever I do, I think somehow I would really immerse myself, in the moment, basically.
I'm going to take a quick ad break, but what I want to say before we go is that following your story, you were quite blessed in the way that you were surrounded by people that you could learn from all the time. When you come back, I want to talk about what you learned from John Ledwaba,
Okay.
who was on Igoli in the 70s, and this man over here loved him. We'll be right back. And if you're joining us right here on Real Talk on 3, you're a little bit late, but trust me, you're about to catch the best of the interview with Sello Maake Ka-Ncube. Now, the Maake Ka wasn't part of who you are.
Yeah.
Is Kiki stage name?
No, it is actually what? Maake is my stepfather. I was raised by my stepfather.
Okay, you mentioned him earlier.
And then later on, I decided to use my blood label.
Okay.
And my blood label is Ncube. So I think just to be smart, I said Maake Ka-Ncube.
But it's lovely that you can,
It is,
you still kept on to Maake Ka, because I think it's the greatest form of, homage. You're paying good homage.
That man raised me, man. That man was a dad. Whatever portrait of paternity that I have, it's him.
It's him.
Yeah.
It's him. So talk to me about John Ledwaba. You say you watch
John Ledwaba, I think he's just a little older than me. And I was an aspiring actor. When you're young, you're aspiring. And I mean, one of the things that you never missed was the showbiz page of every newspaper. Be the Star.
Pretoria News.
Pretoria News, because I grew up in Pretoria, and there was, I think at that time it was the World. It was World. Or Sowetan, but I can't remember. But I think that it changed to be the World. And as I was reading the showbiz page, John Ledwaba is being interviewed there. And one thing that I learned, and he doesn't remember it, because I think when we met later on, I said, I learned something amazing from you. And in fact, now it's being used as if it's my quote.
Oh,
it's not
really?
my quote, actually. And what John was quoted saying was that an actor is an instrument for mind liberation. Ooh. And that is so true.
Oh.
Because I think as an actor, you can help somebody to understand themselves better. And through that, their minds open up to themselves.
But okay, as an actor, for you to be able to do that, you need to understand the character that you're going into, right? So what's your preparation like when it gets to that? And I mean, you've done plenty of roles.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was, like, I mean, I never trained, had any formal training as an actor. But, you get the whole thing that, people say, I'm getting into character. I've got to get into character.
But you don't subscribe to that. You and John Mehmet. You and John Mehmet say that's...
David Mamet.
The David Mehmet, my mistake, yes.
Yeah. Because, I mean, later, because one thing that I did was I read a lot of books on acting. I mean, you talk about just Stanislavski, an actor prepares, building a character. What is it? One that really moved me a lot, and it is basically somebody who came immediately after Stanislavski, the Russian director. And he's a Polish director called Jerzy Grodowski. And he wrote a book called Towards a Poor Theater. And basically, I think he was taking method acting to another level. But then as I, kept reading, and then I come across David Mamet's True and False, and the whole thing of, you've got to get into character and all that. And David Mamet says, that's self-indulgence.
Get over yourself.
Get over
yourself. Get over yourself.
And I love David's description, or definition. Because David says, in the script, there is no character. What you find is a series of actions. And those series of actions, basically, an actor comes and plays on top of that and brings his own personality on top of the series of actions. So
an actor's job, if I'm understanding you right, is to take those series of actions and take the one action to the next action to the next action.
Exactly.
To the next action, okay.
And that's life.
Yeah.
If ever you want to define, I like putting the example of you get somebody who, says, come, let's go and steal a car. You know what I mean? You have never stolen a car before. And then he teaches you, gives you the action. What you're going to do, you're going to do this, do that, do that, do that. And you follow those series of actions.
Okay.
Get in the car, boom, reach whatever, the location and whatever. And what are you after that? A car thief.
A car thief.
And what has defined you? A series of actions that you've done. If you are a lover, same thing. You're going to follow a series of actions to get to the point where you kiss. And so I'm so-and-so's lover. It's nothing but actions.
So therefore, it's easy for you to shake a role off. Let's say you playing, for instance, Archie on Generations.
Yeah.
When you get into the car, you're like, cheers, Archie, I'll see you tomorrow.
That's it. I mean, there was a time, though, where I think I was still young, trying to prove myself. And I did a play called The Suit.
Kentemba.
Your
guy.
Yeah, my man.
Your guy.
You know what I mean? And that play...
So you played Philemon?
Philemon, yes.
Oh.
And that play, it did havoc to me. I didn't realize it when it happened, but it did. And I so immersed myself into it to the point that when I got home, Philemon was still there in me, but I wasn't aware. And it messed up a relationship of mine as a result.
I don't... Okay, I'm judging you,
yeah,
but I'm not judging you.
Okay.
Because I read that play, right? And
yeah.
in my defense, I was like, maybe I was too young. It left me depressed for a while.
It is.
Like at the end when he's like Tilly and
Exactly. And that is one play as well and it ends it used to end painfully because it ends when he discovers Tilly's dead body.
Yes.
And I would go in there, pick up the body, and as I'm sitting on the table, rocking and crying, the play ends. And it lights up and I've got to bow.
It's like,
you
have to.
And there have been many nights, not even, I wouldn't say couple, but many nights where I would be bowing and I'm going,
oh.
And I would go backstage and continue to cry until I finish. Then from there, I'll start changing.
Grab a whiskey and off you go.
Mm-hmm. And I think also, it has to do with the whole thing that sometimes, people say you've got to think of a painful experience before you cry.
Okay.
There is a technique. And if you can realize every emotion has a rhythm.
Oh, okay.
And the way, I would start my cry. I just go to the rhythm of crying. And I go, that's it, done.
And then you look up.
You know.
And then you're there.
And I'm there, and then the next thing is like, now I've got to help that rhythm, change that rhythm and let it slide down.
Okay.
But as far as, getting into character and getting lost in character, that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, like now when I'm playing the queen, people are saying, you'll get caught in that.
No, you cannot. I haven't seen the hand go up once today. And every time I watch the queen, that hand is there. Like,
no ways.
Do you know that this new Salt Bay, the guy that chucks the salt like this, you're not on social media. That's your problem.
I'm not. That's
okay, I'm going to take a quick ad break. Somebody please bring us that. There's this guy that's like taking over the world. He does meat, and then when he chucks the salt on it, he chucks it like this, and everyone loves it.
Yeah.
So when I first saw it, I was like, no, guys, Jose did this first, though. I'm like, y'all are playing. You guys like undermining your South Africans. Jose was there first. We'll be back after the break. And we're back with Real Talk right here on SABC 3. So Sello has seen Salt Bay.
It's like,
Salt Bay, check your style. I'm telling you now. He watches you as well, and he was like, yes, when I make
I think you watched me, taking it from me.
I want royalties.
Yeah.
I want to go outside another window. So I'm outside a window. It's 1986.
Yeah.
And you are about to star in what you say is your biggest break. Well, your break.
Yeah.
Was Albert.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's go to the night before. Do you get any sleep?
I mean, basically, when you talk about nervousness, especially when I'm doing a play, even sometimes, on set, when I'm doing a thing, just before the take, just before I go on stage, there's got to be that.
Otherwise, stop doing it.
It's got to be there. And because that becomes, I think, just somehow the fuel, something that just fuels you on. So, yeah, I mean, the nerves were there. But at that time, I mean, you don't even think of it as a break. You don't think of it as a break. It is like, gosh, will I remember to do everything that I need to do? And then from there, there's that, when the lights on the theater go down and the set, whatever preset goes down, and you know that, hey, I must have met Wapalamapu.
No turning back now.
No turning back now.
We're in there.
We're in there.
But then because you strike me as somebody who crits themselves a lot, right?
I hate watching myself, actually.
I can, this is where I'm going with this. What's your crit process of yourself like then? Because like I get that you can be nervous before, but do you do that whole thing afterwards where you break down everything in your head and see where you could have gone better or how it could have gone worse?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I do that. And I mean, one of the things that especially when I'm doing a play, my day starts at 4:00. And I actually learned that got used to doing that when I was doing Was Albert. Because Was Albert, I mean, it was such a physical show. So basically what I would do is that I would be at the theater by 3:30, 4:00, 1 to 5. I'm just doing physical training, finish that. And then after that, I do the vocal warm up, like from 5 to 6. And then from there after 6, I go and have a shower and then come and do a now gentle warm up and then think about, I missed that moment there. And just before the show starts, I've gone through the play, and then at 8:30, then I just like, okay, let me just now relax and be ready because the play used to start at 8:30.
Okay.
So by 8 now, I'm just waiting for the moment.
But I mean, that whole you walking around and it seems poetic, right? And then you're walking around and you're looking and you're like, oh, come back, that scene. But it can be a dangerous thing, right? Where you get to a place where you're so critical of yourself that it's almost crippling.
One thing that I don't do is like, I mean, and that's the beauty of acting. You know what you're going to do, but I don't plan my performance. What I should do, I should just know the lines and know the moments. And then from there, allow myself to experience the moment. I had an audition at one time where a director asked me to read with 4 ladies, and basically I performed differently
With
with each one of them. And the director was, after they left, and said, "Oh, come on, Sello, you got to help me here." You know, because you act well with all of them.
Which one must we go with?
Which one really gives you that? I said, "Hey, that's your responsibility. Leave me out of it."
You just like...
But, you know, and it's one of those things that you cannot plan a moment. You've got to go with what you get, because, in fact, my biggest lesson that I got from acting, on acting, was from my uncle, or Baba Mncane. My Baba Mncane, Kenima Josie, you know, bahlobene ngabomama. His mother and my father's mother were sisters.
Okay.
So
yes.
my father was older.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, you know how it happens on our side. It's brothers and sisters. And it's
Everybody's family.
It's So he acted with Gibson, I think, in the early days. Scarlo, he played Scarlo and did other Leifa and all that. Your mother would know that, not you.
Leifa?
Leifa, it was a play by Gibson.
Okay, okay.
And he gave me an acting lesson, and he broke down the word actor. He said, A stands for action, C stands for creativity, T stands for technique, O stands for for observation, R stands for reaction. That's all you use as an actor.
We're going to charge you for that lesson, okay? Your invoice is on the way to your house.
You know.
Here's something else you said about somebody that made you a better actor. Is your daughter, because she's deaf.
Right.
And it was so profound when you said, you can't just talk to her in passing.
Yeah.
You have to talk to her.
Yeah.
And you applied that in your acting. And I could see it. I was like, yes, because sometimes you like to deliver those lines in passing as an actor and actress. Meanwhile, those were the ones that you had to turn and deliver to us. Would you agree?
And the thing about it, it's like, you know, because of her deafness, she has to see, you know, and everything, I think, with deaf people, a slight twitch could be that you are angry. So if you're like, I'm happy. You know, you can never say, no, I'm happy. You know, it has got to, because they hear, there's a lovely line by who's the Shakespeare in one of the sonnets.
Maybe I know
remember
this
which
one.
It's the one that says, as an unperfect actor on the stage, But the last line, it says, to hear with eyes is love's something perfect wit.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
To hear with eyes.
Because deaf people hear with their eyes.
Okay. Is life's perfect wit?
Yeah, you know.
I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah. It's a lovely line, you know. Because I think in the sonnet, you know, he talks about, you know, my look, should be the ones that tells you how I feel. And so to be able to see with eyes is love's most perfect way.
Okay, I see where this is going. I want to talk more about your kids, because you said something wonderful about when you were, you were doing The Lion King.
Yeah.
And you were obviously in the UK and they were still here.
Yeah.
So we'll chat about that. And then we'll chat about you saying that you got The Lion King because he says, I've got that growl. This is why they cast me as Mufasa. I got that growl. We'll be back. And we're back, and you know I was not gonna let the Shakespeare sonnet go, right? So I have here my phone, Googled it, and here we go. Who plead for love and look for recompense, more than that tongue that more hath expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit. Hey, man, Sello, you guys are learned, eh? You guys are learned. And that's what you were saying, that when you talk to your daughter, because she's deaf, you have to talk to her.
Yeah, and I think for her, you know, because he hears with her eyes. And the thing also was that in order for me, for her to believe me, I've got to be truthful at all times. In fact, in David Mamet's True and False, he has a quote that he uses by James Cagney. James Cagney is one of those old actors in Hollywood. And the quote goes, all what an actor has got to do is find his mark, look the other actor in the eye, and tell the truth.
Okay.
That's all you've got to do.
And I would think that, you know, what you're saying now helps you a lot in today's age because, you know, it's 2017. People are not really watching TV or wholeheartedly any longer. Like, you're on your phone, you're reading a book, you know, because we're these busy people.
Yeah.
So when you come on screen, because you kind of walk with us. You kind of say, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, because you're delivering. And I think that's why you're still doing so well, because you are quite encompassing when you get on screen. Like, you are there.
I don't know. Well, I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. How it impacts on people, you know, it's something,
It's
you know,
something
I don't
else.
do it consciously, you know, and I think that's the beauty of what we do, you know, all you do. I mean, it's like even with a football player, a very, talented football player. They don't think twice about what they're doing. They're in the
Second
moment.
nature.
They're in the moment, and all that they have to do is the person has got. I mean, you look at a Messi, you look at a Ronaldo, you know, our Jabu Pules and whatever.
Yeah.
It's about the moment and how you make that moment work. You know.
Still in your children, the sweetest thing I read about you is that when you were in the UK as Mufasa on The Lion King, and they were still in South Africa, your family was based here, and you said, they were like, oh, you know, so how do you do it? Don't you miss them? Isn't it strenuous in your relationship?
Yeah.
You said, I believe in the power of connection. So when I'm thinking of them, something makes me believe that at that moment in time, they are thinking of me too.
Yeah.
You are so... Stop it. Because I believe that, because life is all about energy. And is that how you keep your relationships with your children intact?
You know, in a way, but I think also at best, you know, it's about making contact. But there are those moments when you cannot, and you've got to trust in the universal energy. You know, it's like even with my past son. You know what I mean? And there are times when I miss him. You know what I mean? And I think the moment when it hits me, it's like, oh,
Oh, yes.
Masa.
Because when you miss him, that's a visit. You're like, oh, okay,
okay.
Oh.
And it's a silent, and it's, you know, it's a silent thing that, you know,
you toughen up there, because you look like you toughen up. You're like, okay,
no,
sure.
I don't. I mean, when I'm alone, I don't toughen up. And my name is Sello, by the way.
What does Sello mean?
Skalo.
Skalo. All right.
So, but I'm Makala.
Makala when
So,
needed.
I mean, I cry easily, actually. You know, it's weird because, like, when I go to a funeral and I see people, you know, crying,
Chief mourning.
automatically my tears start welling up.
Oh, you're so empathetic. That's what you are.
You know?
You're connected. You're like,
And I'm like,
you didn't even know this guy. You didn't even know this guy. Come on.
You know, it's like, what are you crying for? You know, you haven't lost them. You just came here to help them.
Yeah, this person was 115 years old. This was time to go. It was time to go. Bring yourself towards yourself. I want to know who called you to tell you that you have got the role as Mufasa.
Level M. And Level M is the one who actually forced me to actually read, because they were holding auditions at the market at Keepies.
Yeah.
And I just went there because I wanted to say hi, you know, because, you know, and I was rehearsing a play at the market. So as I walked into the rehearsal room, I said, okay, I've come to audition. At the end of the rainbow, you'll find a... you've got to read for us. Oh. You've got to read for us. And from there, he gave me the script, gave me the CD. And that was it. And I went and learned the lines. And apparently, after my audition, as I went out, they were calling New York. We've got a Mufasa.
And that's it.
And that's it.
And people were quite fascinated by your voice. They were like, did you put that voice on?
Yeah.
And, you know, the growl. You said the growl maybe what got you, like... Because Mufasa was bigger than life, you know?
Yeah.
And you used The Lion King to also kind of connect with your children. I love that.
Well, you know, I think The Lion King was the very first production that I could do and my children could see.
Okay.
You know, all along I've been playing, you know, doing plays where, you know, I mean, the adult plays.
Yeah.
And I think also what has been nice recently, when I was doing The House of Truth at the market, you know, for the first time in my entire career, in London I did signed performances, but for my daughter to see a signed performance, And for me, doing that performance was the most heartwarming performance, that for the first time, my daughter doesn't have to lip read. You know, because there was an interpreter
on stage.
Signing the show for her.
That is quite remarkable.
I mean, there were other deaf people in the show, but every show of mine, like, I'll be going to the Soweto Theatre in May to do the House of Truth. So every Sunday performance, it's a signed performance. Yes.
I'm totally stuck in that. So who makes you a better actor? Like a person that you've starred opposite, and you know full well that when you get into a scene with them, it's fireworks.
One person that I used to have fireworks with was Tina Jack.
Yo, the way she used to call you your name, Archie. Yeah. Archie! You're like, elsewhere, Priscilla.
Yeah. I think she was one actress that basically just had Tinaiza.
There's no other way to describe her, actually.
She's just... And when you're with her, it's like... Because you never know where she's going to go. You know. And I think she's an amazing performer in that regard.
And just like you know, although your paths went like this, you know, you guys have, because I mean, she's out there killing it as well at the moment, you know, gold diggers and all of that. So
Tina, I think she's one hot actor.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm glad you said that.
You know, I still have to. In fact, though I see there are some people, you know,
Sophie Ndaba.
No, not Sophie Ndaba, man.
Which show is she in?
She's in the show with us, man. Zenanda.
Zenanda, oh, okay.
She's got something.
Okay, she's got that.
She's got something. I don't know what it is, but she's got something.
She's got something.
She's got something. You know, and you know, I've worked with her, and and she's got something. Yeah.
All right, I'm glad you brought up, you know, now we're coming to today, because when we come back from the break, for the last time, I'm so sad running out of time. I want to talk about, you know, the Queen. I want to talk about a bit of generations. I want to talk about Scandal. Okay. I want to talk about the state of the industry today.
All right.
And we've got so little time for it. I'm literally, I'm about to cry myself. He's going to teach me how to cry during the ad break. We'll be back. And we're back with Real Talk for the last time today. Sello Maake Ka-Ncube. Now I'm going to ask a question that I know all of you want to know. What's your experience of Awu Baba Umfundi Mvundla? What was your, you know, tango with him like?
You know, I think it wasn't even more about me and him. I think it was about just what was happening in the industry. And I think I had issues with the fact that at that time, most of the writers were white. You know what I mean? And somehow I was feeling the frustration that, you know, the life that one was portraying, one couldn't really relate to.
As a black person?
As a black person. And sometimes, you know, the attitude of, it's like, you know, being dictated to at times. Because, I mean, you know, like you find, I mean, there was this one time this director was saying, oh, come on, you can't, Mandla, you know, you're on first name basis now. Because I was calling him Sithole. You know what I mean? He said, no,
which is normal.
He said, you guys are on first basis. You see, this is what you don't understand. Your first name basis in English is not the same first name basis in African culture.
Yeah.
So by calling him Sithole, oh man, we are on first name basis.
In fact, that
so it's those little dynamics. So it was more that. And when I was, you know, deciding to go, it was because of that kind of environment that was frustrating.
Because if that happens once, it's one little thing. But if there are 50 of them, they collect up and they become another character in the soapy itself.
You know.
Okay, but I don't want people to think that you only have bad things to say. Well, professional things to say.
Yeah.
I want like a heartfelt thing about Mfundi, something that you always take away from working with him.
Look, generations. I mean, for him to come up with generations, you know, and mind you, I didn't even audition for Archie. I auditioned for Busang.
Archie's brother.
Archie's brother.
The artistic one.
The artistic, and I wanted to play that. And I mean, I went there, playing like I'm a musician, and I carry the gates of, the saxophonist and all that. But they didn't see that in me. They saw Archie, and that's how I got cast. And basically, after that, the rest is history. Even now, people still refer me as Archie.
As Archie. Mm-hmm. No, I think Khosi's taken over.
I don't think he will. He's got his generation.
Oh.
Because okay. There are still those who know Archie, and they will say, "Hey, Archie, we're not Khosi." And it has blown a lot of people, but people never thought that I would go that direction.
It didn't shock me one bit. I was like, if there's anyone in this country who takes something like that head on and make it blow up, it's Sello.
And I'm having a ball.
You are and you know what? On this show, we are all about full circles, and I feel like you and Connie, it's a full circle for you guys, right?
Yeah,
because you were brother and sister as the Moroccans in the Morocco Empire, and now you're playing brother and sister again.
Yeah.
It must be a.
But even though, what I find shocking is like Connie's like, listen, when you've been hiding this all along. I said, darling, I'm having a ball here. Just leave me.
And I like the way you say, it's easier. And you say you've got gay friends, so even you've been hit on, so you're like,
yeah. My best of it is like, especially when I was doing the suit, I got hit on by gay people. I don't know why, but they did.
Only flair, that's why.
And what used to fascinate me is like when they would come in and they're hitting on you, and the person comes with the cigarette and says, "Do you have a lighter?" and there's the lighting, and it goes, "Thank you."
and now that's Khosi all over.
And basically, and for me, and that is the O in the actor. Because as an actor, one thing that you've got to do, you've got to be observant.
Observe.
You know what I mean?
Observe. So do you not, because I see interviews with you and you're like the go-to person when it comes to like the authority things in the industry. So do you not get tired of being asked? So what do you think of these actors and actresses that are on shows because they've got a high Twitter following? See how I asked the
question? But I always avoid it.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping this was the first time you don't.
No, I always avoid it. Look, we have different parts. And I think we've got to realize that things change. You know what I mean? And this time, that's what's on the offing. And people will go that. And with time, the only thing that I think that other person can do from after getting that opportunity, because they've got a certain kind of followership, if they really love the craft, because I think it's a beautiful craft, then they can go and learn the dynamics of it. What I always find is like when people say, I'm still trying to build my brand. And for me, it's like your brand was built the moment you were conceived.
That is your DNA.
Exactly.
That is your brand.
And then all you need to do is do your best.
Okay.
And as you do your best, people follow your best. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
So what's the state of the industry according to you?
I think we could do we could do more. We could do more. But a lot is happening. At the moment, I think most of the black directors who are directing me are kids. They are my, kids, or they are, old enough to be my children.
And that's a good thing.
And that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
So, which means my other children who are still growing up, they will grow in an industry where they will, because my frustration at times is that there is no understanding of cultural references. You know what I mean? Because a white person's cultural reference and a black person's are not the same.
It's so true. It's like I was saying to a friend of mine yesterday, when I used to take transport to go to school, and someone, like a white friend was like, yes, but transport is you going to school. I'm like, no, transport is where the taxi comes to your house to fetch you specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
And and everyone was black were like, guys, we all know that. Transport.
Transport.
But you have to explain it.
Yeah.
And you're so right about those cultural references that we mustn't allow them to fall through the cracks.
And we have our own way of naming the world. And sometimes I think white people have a tendency of trying to impose their naming of the world. And, those are little things. And I think we still have to go, to tell stories that reflect the granny that you know, Ngobo.
Do you think it's because we're scared to see ourselves?
No, we're not. I don't think sometimes we're writing the stories rightly.
Okay.
If you would read Inqumbo Eminyanya,
I love that.
you see what I mean? And one thing for sure,
Eh?
yes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you will see how those characters actually express themselves in that world and how they carry themselves. And there's one thing about, as black people, we have an amazing grace. We have an amazing grace. You see it. Like the other day, I went to Mthatha. And on the day that we were going to part, and there was a whole gathering. And if you saw, I mean, these men basically actually they're unemployed and whatever.
But they still.
But when they stand up and talk.
Yeah.
But again, but the wisdom and the grace that they give you, we haven't brought those people in our roles. Yeah.
But you also starting to direct. Well, you directed, because you directed Walter Albert, which was strange, because you acted in it and then you directed
exactly,
in it.
Yes.
Which director are you? Human behavior.
Human behavior.
Okay.
Because it's got to be about that. I mean, I remember in one of the plays that I directed, Coming, one of the actors said, "No, but it's just that your direction is Western. You're directing Western theater." And then what is supposed to be black theater? No, black theater, we are animated. Is it Abosmomo?
Osmoko, Teta,
And I said, but does your mother speak that way, or your father speak that way, or your uncle speak that way? No. So what we need to do is get to the finer details of how we project ourselves. And the other thing is that people tend to think that there is a huge difference between stage and theater.
Yeah.
You know what's the difference? Space.
Explain that for me. So there's a huge difference between stage and TV.
There isn't. I mean, with acting-wise.
Yeah.
It's about space.
Explain it.
Camera. It is. That's the space you act in.
Okay.
And theater. That's the space.
So do you not have to be more animated when you're on stage?
It is not. It's understanding space. I'm talking to you now.
Okay. So if you
but
were
if I'm going to talk to him, there's that. Hey, man, you know what?
Okay.
It's all about space. And then now, because you are in this space, as I'm talking to you, I've got to incorporate that person. I said, what I was telling you, it's all about just, because my voice has got to be the one. That is, it doesn't mean, now what I have to tell you is that.
Okay. I have learned.
And where you want to see the best lesson, go when there are gatherings, maybe a funeral gathering or a wedding, and listen to an umalume speaks, and he's speaking to a crowd. They don't get animated. They understand space. And it's something that we understand even naturally, because when you're speaking to somebody, calling somebody from a distance, you understand this with good. Yes. Hallelujah.
Okay. So John Lutaba taught you about, acting being basically a vehicle of human liberation.
Yeah, mind liberation.
Mind liberation.
Yeah.
So that's what you took from him. If there is another Sello and you happen to be there, John, what's the message that you are leaving for an actor who's watching you, and you their mentor? They may not have told you, but you are their mentor.
I cannot dictate what is it that they will learn from me. But I can tell you a little story where I met a young boy begging in the street. And I looked at him and I said, "Mfana, yazi unesibindi. Ukuzalagi and ask for money. Ungangazi, unesibindi mfana." But the thing is, you're using isibindi sakho the wrong way.
Oh, wow.
What if you used isibindi sakho to find who you are and present yourself to the world in another way? The next time I met this boy, he comes to me and said, "Hey, Brasilo, do you remember me?" I said, "No." I said, "Ngile yantwana leyana wokhuluma nayo lapha ekhoneni and uyitshela ukuthi inesibindi." At now, I'm in a production of Umoja.
And that's it. So
that's
basically.
It. So, I mean, the lessons that you give, you never know
who you're
giving it to. And I think also it's also even the thing in which when you talk to people, never look down upon them. I know that, people today, I mean, especially when they want photos, they just think, you belong to them. But I take time and say, no, Not now.
Boundaries.
This is just me time now. No, but I said, yes, I understand. But and back, ne? But you want a photo, now you make me work.
When I'm
for
not
being nice
working.
to you. So don't make me work for being nice to you. Because at this moment, I'm not working. But if I'm there and I'm working, you know, maybe I'm the MC or whatever. Have a full day, darling. Enjoy me, whatever. I will do whatever. But when I'm not working, I come to your function. And then
I'm at a wedding, guys.
I'm at a wedding. I've come to your wedding.
Yeah.
And the next thing, the focus shifts from you. You know? And now it's about me taking photos. No. And funerals.
Funerals!
And I say, highway.
Selfies with the coffin and Sello.
I know, you know.
I must go, but
Yeah.
one word from you. You during the ad break, you said you're gonna do your autobiography. You might write your autobiography, which I think should be I will write my autobiography.
Yeah.
At this present moment in time, like
Yeah.
2017, what is it called?
From Gibson Kent to William Shakespeare.
Oh, swag.
Or from Soweto to Stratford upon Avon.
I like from Gibson Kent to William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare.
And then the second one, the one you write when you retired living in your house by the beach, then it can be from Soweto to Stratford Haven.
No, I think that one has got to embrace something much deeper and wiser.
You are so dramatic, and we love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, what an hour, right? What an hour. I told you he was a legend. Thank you so much for coming out to play with us. Listen, before we go, remember, 5,000 Rand worth of an e-voucher can be won. Compliments of At Home. All you need to do is get hold of us on our social media pages. At Real Talk is on Twitter, and Facebook is Real Talk. Thank you so much once again. This has been heavenly. Ciao, ciao.